Thank you very much, and good morning, friends and neighbors. We are having a change of program in a certain way. While I usually read the Bible, interpret the scripture, and I read of ethics of the fathers, and I give a presentation practically every week about Jewish values, which are ethical values, moral values, and how the world should behave in order that all people should have a chance to get an equal share of all the goodies that are to be given out to the world by God. God had no prejudices. He made us all to be alike without looking alike. And we look different, and we have different ideas, and everybody has his own character and his own personality and his own ideas, which is fine. We can agree disagreeably, or we can disagree and be friends. Depends on how we behave as human beings. The purpose of this program today is that I'm the chaplain of the Central Connecticut State University. There are three chaplains. They're Catholic and a Protestant and Jewish. Pardon me. I represent the Jewish community of CCSU. We had a meeting a week ago, 2 weeks ago, in which I met one of the students, and I said, would you mind to come on my program someday, and let's give an opportunity to those who express opinions about who they are. You are from Germany, and people who are German, and if they don't like German people, they will say, well, what do you bring them on? What do you want to prove, or what are you trying to do? I said, what I try to do is to teach that we have to face the world as it is. And today, Italy of today was not the Italy of yesterday, and Russia today was not yesterday, and Germany today is not what it yesterday. So everything has changed. And when there are German people who are, I'm sure, proud of their heritage, and I wanted to bring a program which I hope will be helpful to better understanding and to improve our relationships with other people. So I would like to introduce the people, and they will introduce themselves. I have a slight cold today, so it will be different. But to my left is introduce yourself and tell your hometown where you come from.
My name is Nils Steinbrink. I'm from Germany, and my hometown is Stuttgart. And I'm studying at the university, an old-fashioned university at Tübingen. My major is international business. That's why I'm here for the next year as an exchange student at the CCSU to improve my knowledges in international business.
My name is Marie Dannhausen. I'm from Germany as well. I'm from the city of Braunschweig, which is in northern Germany, and I study at a very traditional German university as well. I study at the University of Heidelberg, and I study English and French, and I'm here to improve my knowledge of English and to get to know everything about this country.
Now, I happened to meet this young man who came here by sheer accident. But introduce yourself and your background, please.
I'm Carsten Müller from Germany as well, and I'm just here on a visit. Actually, I study in Germany at Heidelberg, University of Heidelberg, English and history.
All right, now let's see. What would you say, and I need your help. Tell me a little bit of what you know about German history.
I think we learned a lot in school. We're going normally 13 years to school. That includes primary school and the chance to get to the university. And I think we have a lot of teaching in history and in German literature, and we heard a lot about our history, our past, about what happens in the Second World War and also in the First World War, what happened with the Nazis. And I learned also a lot from my parents because they grew up in the Second World War, and they told me a lot about the situation in the Second World War and all the bad things that happened. And I think we got...
If we talk about bad things, what did they tell you?
They told me about how people got scared of the Nazis and how they destroyed a lot of people, or how the situation was for themselves. They were not Jewish, and they had also a very difficult situation because of the Second World War, and that everything was destroyed. And
now, as a German, are you scared to talk about that?
no, I don't think so, because I think we are a new generation and we know about the past, and I think I have no problems to talk about this. I know that bad things have happened, and I'm not very proud of this, but I think because we're a new generation, everybody maybe try to see us in a different way, or maybe I try to present myself in a different way.
How do you feel about the Turks, for instance, in Germany? There's a great fear that what they call Ausländer, the foreign element, is taking over. What is the truth and what is the fiction?
I think that's difficult, because we have a lot of foreigners now in Germany, and there are maybe some parts of the German population that think we could get some problems with too much foreigners. But I think it's the change of the globalization of the whole world that, like myself, I travel to different countries, and maybe I try to live later in a different country. And so I think it's a change of our environment, that more foreigners are now in my home country. And for me, it's no problem, because I have a lot of friends, foreign friends, and I don't know how to say. I wouldn't say that we have a special problem with foreigners. It's maybe a little bit pushed by the medias that we could have a problem, maybe because of our background and our history. But I think there's no particular problem with the foreigners, and also not with the Turkish people, because they are more and more integrated in Germany, and I think they are now higher educated, and so they are on the same level like the Germans.
Yeah, I'm sure you have representatives of Turkish in Parliament, in Bundestag. I think one or two have been elected to represent the people of German of Turkish extraction, or whatever you might call it. Okay, now this covers one part of it. Now, what do you have to say on the same thing when you grew up?
I grew up being very conscious about German history and what happened in the past, especially the last 60 years. I learned a lot in school, and the same as he did, because I think everybody in Germany is really educated very well, considering the last 60 years of history. We are very conscious of that, I think. And I also, in the last 3 years, we have to choose majors, and one of my majors was history, so I really worked a lot with the Third Reich and other things connected to that, how it led to it, and what the outcome was, and all those the horrible things that happened.
Do you have any Jewish friends in Germany?
No, actually I don't.
You don't have the opportunity?
No, I don't have the opportunity.
Well, in Braunschweig there's a Jewish community.
Yeah, there is.
And they have a synagogue. I think they rebuilt a synagogue, the German government.
Yeah, I think so.
In the last few years. And so would you think it's a good idea that you go into the community and introduce yourself to make friends with people? Actually, or is it difficult?
Actually, I have been thinking about that a lot, because in Heidelberg I live very, very close to the newly built, beautiful synagogue, and I passed by there every day, and I really thought, I really would like to go in there, but I felt, I don't know if they want me to be there, so I didn't know.
Yes, I'm sure they want you.
So I was intimidated, and I didn't know if they wanted me to be there. That's why I never dared to go there, but I really would have liked to do that.
When you get back to Germany, go into the synagogue.
Okay, I will.
And go up to the man who's in charge and introduce yourself, and just tell him you bring regards from Rabbi in New Britain.
I will.
And when you do that, he will say, well, that's so nice of you to come here. The ice is broken. You make friends. You can make a tremendous contribution. to better human relations.
Yeah.
It's a very, very important. You have to have the courage to walk up and shake hands. You know, that may be a little strange to the German who is very a little bit, back office.
No, I think it's because for me personally, it's really because I'm very, very conscious of what happened, and I don't want to damage anything again. So
no,
I don't know.
You would. You know, what you're saying now is very important to me from a psychological standpoint. When you travel, I mean, you see, I travel to Germany every day in a spiritual way. I make contact with my past on a daily basis. I am very conscious that if Hitler would not have been in Germany, I still would be in Germany today. He drove me out. Why? Because I didn't meet the specification of an anti-Semite. You know, anti-Semites have ideas. What do they say? The Jews are liars, the Jews are swindlers, the Jews are pushy, the Jews are this. You know, that they give you an idea that these people have these characteristics. The truth of the matter is, I am very withdrawn, I'm not pushy, I don't have very much money, and I just want to have a piece of bread every day like everybody else. You see, the ideas that people have in their head have to be dispelled if there's to be peace on earth. Mm-hmm. Now, in 1933, I'm not trying to lecture you now, in fact, my cold is getting better. And in 1933, when Hitler came to power, and I saw the people with the marching in the streets with the torches, and they were singing a song that I hear to this very day. And I say it in German, I will translate it. He said, und heute gehört uns Deutschland und morgen die ganze Welt. Now, I was scared to death. In fact, if the whole world would be like what is happening here tonight, anybody who is different is doomed to die. There's no chance. When you say, it's good to be different if you are the way I am, then it's good to be different. But you have to meet my expectations. So Marie, when you get back to Germany, I make you a delegate of mine.
Okay.
And you should realize that these people need you too, and you need them. And someday you may be of help to them, because I have an idea that someday when you graduate from school, you get a high position, you may climb up in government in some way, and when you find people who are different than you are, be particularly friendly to them. When you have the ability, you might be someday an official in the government. You know, over there in Germany, I remember the only thing you needed to have is a stempel, you know? Everything has to be stamped. And it's true. You know, you said, but die haben doch keinen Stempel hier, you know? Pardon me. But it's not stamped, so therefore it's not a legitimate piece of paper. There is such a thing as the human stamp. We can put our stamp on it, our own personality, and that makes all the difference in the world. So, you know, and not that I wanted to correct you, but when the people say, well, these were the Nazis, or this was the SS, or the SR, to me that doesn't make any sense, because practically everybody was a German. You know, it's easy to say, oh, these were the Nazis, but the Nazis were Germans, you know, and anybody will say, well, why do you say that? I said, because what are you afraid of? For instance, if people will say to me, but your grandfather, he killed somebody, supposedly. I say, yeah, my grandfather killed somebody, but that's not my fault. I'm not my grandfather. Am I ashamed to talk about it? No, because all things can happen to all people. We never know what a person will do. And sometimes people innocently are dragged into situations. But this is just from a general standpoint. So we have another guest here today who just by coincidence walked into the studio. And I asked him a question, whether he was, and the reason I'm interested in that, it's good for every person to have a little bit of military training. I mean, you know, to learn obedience, you know, and not to do what you want to do. So I asked my friend, Mr. Müller, I said, were you in the Bundeswehr? He said, yes, I served my 12 months. So can you tell me something? How are you indoctrinated today as a German soldier? What is the difference between a German soldier today and an SS man?
Well, I do suppose there's a very big difference, because there's not much ideology going on. Well, I was in the army 93 to 94, and the wall had practically just come down, and there was a lack of an enemy, so it was not so strict anyway. I think the army in the Third Reich, for example, was a lot stricter than the Bundeswehr is even today. Indoctrinated is probably not quite the idea that I get. I didn't feel indoctrinated in any way, because it wasn't very much political. We were just shown what to do in a practical way, but not really. We didn't learn ideology or anything. So.
In other words, you were here to defend your country.
That's right.
Well, that is the honorable thing to do. And the other thing, question I always ask, did you find any Jews in the German army today?
No, I didn't. I think.
But they are.
I don't know that, in fact.
Yeah, it's a fact.
I guess. But I think the problem with that is that there's so few Jews around. So I have, in my hometown, there's practically no Jews left.
In Bad Kreuznach?
In Bad Kreuznach. There used to be a synagogue, but it was burned down and then torn down because it was so badly damaged.
Yeah. Did anybody ever come back inviting the people who used to live in Bad Kreuznach to come back for friendship? You know, they had these invitations that came out from Berlin, from Frankfurt, from Stuttgart, from Munich, to invite the Germans, to invite the Jewish people who lived in these communities to come back home, shake hands with them, and sort of to make peace in their own mind, their own feeling. But you are not aware of that.
Well, that sort of thing has happened, but it was not enough, obviously, to restore the Jewish community in Bad Kreuznach, for example.
I'm sure.
So there's no living community there. So it's very hard to meet Jewish people in that area.
What is your religious affiliation? What are you, a Catholic?
I'm a Catholic.
You're Catholic. You're Catholic too?
No.
You're Protestant?
No.
Evangelic?
I'm not.
No, you're not affiliated.
No, I'm not affiliated.
In other words, you are, how they would call you, non-churched.
Right.
In other words, you don't have a church. What is your religion?
Protestant.
Evangelisch?
Yep.
And do you still go to church?
Sometimes, not every Sunday, but
I mean, you go to Easter?
yep.
Easter or Christmas or something like that. Now, what a very interesting, your statement, I am not affiliated with any religious organization, rings very true in my ear. Because there must be a reason why you feel that the church, or the synagogue for that matter, or any religious institution, is not what you expect it to be.
Actually, I've never been baptized because my parents didn't want to make the decision for me, and I think I've given the whole thing a lot of thought, but I haven't come to a conclusion yet, and I want to decide when I really know what I want to do. So I'm still trying to find my way.
You couldn't call yourself an atheist.
No.
You believe in God.
Yeah, I do.
Well, that's the best religion there is, actually. And you don't have to be affiliated with a group of people that organize themselves. In Germany, there's a law, you have to pay Kirchensteuer.
Yep.
You know, you have to pay taxes, whether you you belong to a congregation or not. I think, I'm not sure how it is now, but you pay your taxes. That's taken in by the German government.
If you're in the church, yeah.
You have to be in the church.
Or you have to be affiliated.
Yes.
Or you can waive it, but then you have to go out of the church.
You have to leave the church.
Yep.
Oh, that's a very interesting point. And so, okay, now you began to study. What is your aim for the future? What would you like to do?
Well,
Really?
I'm studying to become a teacher in the gymnasium in Germany.
So what are your requirements to become a teacher in a gymnasium, which of course is like here a form of university? You know, the gymnasium in Germany, when you get through there and you make your Abitur, that's like here going here to college.
It's a bit like it.
You know, it's very tough. So what are your requirements to become a teacher at a gymnasium, let's say, or a Realschule?
Well, it's different for gymnasium and Realschule. A gymnasium is you have to study
Latin.
It's not that. It's not that bad. But I do have to do some Latin for history. So, well, I have to do some of it. But you have to study, say, 2 subjects. It's pretty much the same sort of study that you do for an MA, for example. And then you do your exam, and then you have to go to 2 years teacher's training. And after that, you have another exam, and then you're...
What does the teacher's training consist of?
It's basically methods, how to deal with classes, how to organize your teaching. And then you also have, you do practical teaching in those 2 years. You also get paid already. Not much, but you do get paid.
What would you like to teach?
Well, English and history are my subjects.
English and
so.
history. Do you begin your class with prayer in Germany?
No, you don't do that usually.
Do you pledge allegiance like here?
No.
To the German government?
No.
Thing like that.
Okay, so that I think that's very good. And so one day you will be a professor, maybe.
Well, a teacher. Well, in Austria they are called professors. That's the same level, but in Germany you just call them teachers. It's just a different
like
title.
Oberlehrer.
Something like it, yes.
All right, now that is very interesting. What did you glean from the very idea that Marie would say she still feels very self-conscious to go into a synagogue, let's say? Mm-hmm. She feels, here I am the granddaughter of a man who may have fought in Stalingrad. You know, you don't know who the family is. Is your family German all the way back?
For German standards, I'd say yes. I would never consider myself anything else. But I think my grandfather still was Dutch, so.
He was Hollandish.
Yeah. So, and I still have a Dutch last name, so.
Yeah, I mean, did he come to live in Germany
Yes.
from Holland?
I think my great-grandfather did. He came from Holland to live in Germany.
Yeah. Well, what is your father doing now in business?
He's a doctor.
An MD?
Yeah.
Medical doctor. And you didn't intend to become a
No.
What is your father doing?
And the same as my my objectives now. Like he was a businessman, a salesperson, and yeah.
So you want to go into one of these big conglomerate undertakings, you know, like Daimler-Benz?
No, I don't think so, because I choose the international business because I want to travel around, see the world, and see different cultures, and see different mentalities, and to know about how different people live and how they behave. And
how do you expect to be hired? I mean, where would you start making a living?
I expect to be hired by maybe a firm or company that has many subsidiaries in different countries, right, so that they can send me away to
represent that company.
Represent that country, or maybe there's some I want to go in to the direction like a computer consultant, and so they have to implement some computer programs or whatever. in different countries.
Are you good in computers?
I think so.
Then that's very important. You know, you have to be a computer whiz, you know. Put all this together. It's very important. And your future is in the business world, or?
No, I'm going to be a teacher too.
Also.
And I hope I can convey a little bit of what I learn here and what I've learned from other stays abroad to my students in Germany, and to show them this way that there are other things, that the world is a big place, that you have to be open-minded and walk through the world with open eyes and just
very important.
Really realize
open-minded
everything.
with open eyes. Yeah, and I think you will make a contribution. I know you will, because you're a very sensitive person. I know you will be able to tell people to behave like human beings. And I think altogether, when we realize that you are coming here to the United States, of which we are very proud and very happy, I welcome you really to the United States. And I wanted you to carry back a message. Wherever you go, you realize you see all kinds of people and all shades of color and of all religious and political denominations. And you find that a person is primarily a reflection of God's love. That has nothing to do with organized religion. You should respect every human being, because that human being is a child of God. And that sounds preaching a religion, but it isn't. When I meet somebody, I have the highest regard for everybody that I meet, until they attack me or want to hurt me. And I am very, very, very sensitive to, if somebody calls me a Jew, that I don't mind. But if they call me a damn Jew, that I object. Nobody has a right to put on me a label, you know, not fair. So when I travel in Germany, which was a few times, was interestingly, I might as well tell you that when I was in, we have 1 minute left. Okay, can't tell you the story. It doesn't fit in a minute. But we will talk about it afterwards. We'll stay together for another section. I hope my cold will clear up a little bit. And but what we have done here this morning was very helpful to me, because you gave me the faith that humanity someday will join arms and find a way to appreciate each other in our differences. And so when we make the next section, and I think that's about all. He doesn't give me any signs. Am I done here, or am I not? So, all right, God bless you. I don't get any signs, so I suppose I'm done with. So we'll see you again in a little while. God bless you. Thank you very much, and good morning, friends and neighbors. As I have told you before we closed out the other program, that we will have a second segment of our presentation of German exchange students here on my program, which may not be totally understood by people who wonder, why would you invite Germans to come on a program conducted by a rabbi for Jewish presentation? And so I thought it might clear up a lot of points as we go along, and about what is happening in Germany today, and you will tell me about it. You can tell about yourself a little bit, and before the half an hour is up, you feel that this was a thing worthwhile to do. Didn't cause any misunderstanding, we didn't hurt each other, and people will say, well, you are a Jew, these are Germans, how do you feel towards them? I said, I feel towards them as human beings, and they are all created in the image of God. So this is a new generation, and the past we have to deal with individually, everybody in his own way. Now you can shortly just introduce yourself again in a short way, because you are on the first program. The people may know you, or they may not have tuned in on the first program. This program, by the way, will be shown early in the morning when you're asleep at 5:30. Maybe it's a good thing. No, but not too many people are going to see it. But it's at 5:30 in the morning. It will be shown, I think, in 2 weeks. But I will let you know when you come over to our office, the ministers, you know, the office with Janet, the Protestant minister. I will tell her that you will contact her, and she will tell you when the program will be shown. I will be there too. And you can tell me what do you have a telephone in your place? Maybe I can call you. All right, and we will have then better understanding for people who may come in for the second segment. It's on a Sunday morning, 5:30, half an hour, and the purpose of this program is to give people better understanding of each other, and of all walks of life, all racial, religious denominations or backgrounds. So introduce yourself again, who you are, where you come from, what your purpose is here in America, and the same thing will happen to the next one, and so we go down to number 4. Before the half an hour is over, you know why you were here. You may not know it now, but before it's over, you get an idea. Okay, let's go.
My name is Nils Steinbrink. I'm from Germany, actually from Stuttgart. I'm studying in Tübingen, business administration, and I'm here now since a few weeks in an exchange program at the CCSU University, and I'm studying international business here. And my purpose is to get in contact with a different culture, with a different country, to see how the education system is here, how I could get some information about my work that I will go to, and that's the main purpose for me.
Right.
My name is Marie Dannhausen. I'm from Germany as well. I'm from the city of Braunschweig, but I study at Heidelberg University. I study English and French there to become a teacher. Here I study English mainly, and my purpose is as well to get to know the different culture, and especially to find out about this incredible diversity in this country, and how the country itself deals with the diversity, and to learn something from it and to take some of it home.
My name is Tobias Rombold. I'm an exchange student from Germany too, from Stuttgart, from the south. I'm studying in Tübingen, and I want to finish my MBA program at the CCSU next year in June, and then I will travel around the country and want to learn something about America, more about a different culture.
And when you graduate eventually, what would you like to do? What will be your future?
My future is to finish my studying in Germany and have 2 degrees, the American degree and the German degree.
And you will go into business after that?
Yeah.
Well, what is the business you would like to pursue?
I don't know, actually.
You're not sure yet?
No.
Anybody gives you a good offer, all right?
Yeah.
You can make a few, you can make a living. Then you will say, okay, let
I
me.
hope so.
All right, they will. You're very intelligent and you will have no problems. How about you, my friend?
My name is Felix Löning. I was born in Hamburg, but I used to study in Mannheim, that's close to Heidelberg. And I came here for 10 months to join the MBA program at Central Connecticut State University at School of Business. Yes.
And what are your future ambitions? What would you like to do?
Well, when I come back to Germany, I finish my studies over there, so I have 2 exams, and then I start working, probably in the field of corporate finance and about mergers and acquisition. And
Right, now that is a big field.
That's a big field.
You can make a lot of money or go bust, but it depends how it works.
It depends,
Well,
yeah.
I'm sure you will do fine. Now, what were we talking about in your past? What did you learn in German history yourself? I mean, when you went to school, did you ever talk about 1933 to 1945? Or was there not much mention of that period?
I think we heard a lot about the Second World War, and when you travel around and go to different countries, you are confronted with the Second World War because everybody is talking about it because you are German, and sometimes.
Did you find animosity against Germans?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
In which way does it manifest itself? It's a question, or a psychological question. How do people react to you? What do they do to you, or what do they want from you? Are they seeing in you a human being or a German?
I think the problem is that people don't see that in Germany there are a lot of things changing, or that a lot of things have changed, and they still have the they think that the Germans are also are still racists, and I think that's a problem because in Germany is always compared with racists and racism, and I think that changed a lot because of the new generation of an open-minded
You know, it's very interesting. I would like to ask you, Marie, when people speak of an Aryan, how is that interpreted today? Is there such a thing as Aryans?
We don't use the term at all.
No.
I'm only confronted with it when I'm not in Germany.
No, they used to call it die Arische Rasse.
Yeah, I know, but it's not. We don't.
But we don't talk about these things anymore.
Not at all. Not at all.
And I think that this is very good, because this way you develop a schism. You divide people into groups,
Yeah.
and with it you feel superior. You think these people, they are not up to you. You're on a higher level. Well, what is your opinion?
Well, I think it's a matter of generation. Older people are, I mean, which survived the war or have lived during the war, they have probably more animosities than the younger generation. I think with a younger generation, just like us, or people up to 30, 40 years old, there's not much a problem anymore.
It shouldn't be embarrassing anyhow, and you don't confront people with this question in a general sense, because like somebody would say to me, you know, when your ancestors were slaves in Egypt, say, my ancestors were slaves in Egypt. What do I know about Egypt? What do I know about slavery? You know? But they want to bring out the point actually to saying, remember that you must understand what goes on in your life, who you are, where you come from, and what your own feelings are, your own aspirations. By the way, in Hamburg, you come from Hamburg.
That's right.
You know, they rebuilt their beautiful synagogue. Did you ever see it?
No, but I heard of it. That they
When you get back to Hamburg, will you go into the synagogue and give to the rabbi there my regards?
Yeah, I can
And
do
don't
it.
be afraid, because you will all of a sudden discover people will be happy that you come and shake hands.
So you know him well?
I know all of them. You know, after all, I was in Hamburg a number of times.
Okay.
But even if I don't know him, I know him. In other words, I'm not scared of strangers. A stranger is a stranger only once with me. I shake hands with people, I speak with them, I try to let them know how important they are in this world. How do you feel about your importance in this world?
My importance.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a, you know, like a laughable question. But aren't you impressed with yourself, who you are?
I'm just an individual, I think, and I'm not very impressed about myself. I'm a people in the world, and there are so many people in the world. We are all.
Maybe all brothers and sisters,
yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yes, you know, it sounds a very strange question, but it isn't. The reason why I asked you to come here on my program, first of all, I wanted you to know that you have a contribution to make. You have come here as strangers to my country. I'm an American. I'm a German by birth, actually Polish by birth, and also not that either, but that's my ancestry. And so I have gone through everything that anybody can think of, but I wanted you to know that I'm interested in you, about your welfare, about your future, about your very being, and I want to know who you are. And if I ever could be of help to you, I would be of help to you. You know, I would not see upon you anybody where you come from. I would say who you are, because you can do more with love than with hate. In one speech I made once in Germany, I was invited back by this little town, little village of Thann in der Rhön, near Fulda. You know, Thann, Rhöngebirge. Were you ever in Rhöngebirge? In the Wasserkuppe? Never.
No.
You are a seabird, right? Hamburg.
Yeah.
You know only about sailboats. Now it's a. Now they asked me I should deliver a speech there. I went back with my wife, who was born in Thann in der Rhön. They asked me to should deliver it. Was in a church. It was in a church. And I don't usually go to churches because I don't believe what is being taught in that church. I have my own teachings, my own philosophy. But I went in there as a gesture of goodwill. And I made a speech. And the last line was later on reprinted in the Fulda Tageszeitung. What was the last word that I said? I said it in German because most of them don't speak any other language there. I said, es ist besser zu lieben wie zu hassen. So the people would ask me, what was the reason that you would say, it is besser zu lieben wie zu hassen, it's better to love than to hate. Because I feel in Germany today, with all the wealth that is in Germany, with all the power that's today in Germany, that Germany can make a tremendous contribution to peace in the world. You know, don't underestimate your power. Your power is great, and you have a lot to give to the world. And if you give love to the world, everybody will appreciate it. And don't anybody will say to you, well, who are you to talk love? You are a people tainted with terrible history. So you can just answer, so are you. We all have a tainted history if we go back thousands of years. We don't know who our ancestors were, what they did. It's not my fault. But I certainly want to make sure when I come to Hamburg, and I should meet you there, you would invite me to your home, and you would show me courtesy. Like I would like to do here in New Britain. You're here. We will try to get together. I am speaking to this. Niels, to say we should do that. Get together, sit around the table and talk. Now let me ask you another question. What did you really hear that made you wonder what this was all about from 1933 to 45? You see, I am so deeply involved in this because I am one of the survivors, you see. So I always wonder what the third generation after that Holocaust, how do you feel about what do you pay any attention to it? Do you talk about it? Or is it just a past event? Maybe it may be a difficult question to ask, but do you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
It is kind of difficult to catch sometimes, although it's only some 50 years ago. It's very difficult to get how the people were thinking at those times and why they did those bad things and so. And I mean, we could learn about it, we could see the facts, but it's difficult to get
pardon me for interrupting you, you said bad things.
Yeah.
These were not bad things. These were horrible things.
Horrible things, yeah.
You know, you can't imagine that you can, for instance, Heinrich Himmler. In fact, when I was born, and my father went in Offenbach to the Standesamt, you know, there to the city hall, and they asked me, my father was of Polish birth, and his German wasn't too good. So they said, what would you like to call your name? So my father said, the name of my son is Heinrich, which is Yiddish, Hanoch. So the man who was writing in the book said, there is no such a name as Heinrich. The name of your son is Heinrich. So my name is Heinrich. So whenever I heard Heinrich, that Himmler has the same name, I shuddered. But in my birth certificate is that name. But my Hebrew name is Hanoch. Actually, my Hebrew name is Chaim Hanoch. My father's name was Eliezer, so they called him Loser, which is Yiddish. And the Germans didn't like it, they called him Ludwig. So his name and some of his past was Ludwig. And our name is Polish. My name is Okolica, which is Polish, Okolica. It's Polish, which means surrounding, environment. So here they call it Okolica because the sea is like a K, Okolica. But they had a terrible time in Germany. They wanted to know, Okolica, where are you from? So I was still naive. I said, where I'm from heaven. God sent me down here to give a message. And that's where I'm from. And you have a Polish name, you know, any name you have. People judge you by your name. And this is still the case today, and this is what I hope is not happening anymore anywhere in the world. You don't judge a book by its cover. You read it.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm saying you as a businessman have a tremendous opportunity to spread goodwill among nations. You will, people you deal with, they not only the Deutsche Mark, but there will be all kinds of currencies. You know, you will speak before you get through 7, 8 languages, which is good. Communicate in the language of the people you're dealing with, because they are important. Without them, we couldn't exist. We can't exist without oxygen. God would withdraw it. You see what happened to that aeroplane accident today? The people went through the air for about an hour, and they were dead, because there was no oxygen in the cockpit. They died. And living together is like oxygen. We need each other. So what do you find good about America? Is there anything good here?
I think it's very good because everybody in America, we are all foreigners. When you speak to Americans, they are all immigrants and they have relatives from Ireland, from Germany, from Poland, from everywhere.
And you feel comfortable?
Yeah, it's good when you talk. When you don't say the right words in the English language, they don't care about it because they say it's okay. Yeah.
They can't speak English themselves.
No.
Well, you know, that can happen.
Still better than we.
Yeah.
No, it's all right. And so, what do you have to contribute to that? You spoke right before it, Marie.
Yeah.
About.
I do like the diversity too.
I mean, here in America.
Yeah. And I think there's a sense of possibilities of doing things with your life. I have a little the impression in Germany when you once set on what you want to do, you have to do that and follow it the rest of your life, kind of. And here it seems you can start something new at 40, and this is really something.
Yeah, in other words, it is a real capitalistic country. You can do anything you want to do if you think you can do it. You can open up a store any place. You can do business any place. You can become rich.
But theoretically, it's not different in Germany. But I think the minds are different here, kind of.
That's what I like about it.
That it's another atmosphere somehow.
If a stranger would, pardon me, if a stranger would come to Bad Kreuznach, let's say, and open up a store, and the man doesn't speak English or German or anything else, and he said, he's an Ausländer. So the people said, what right does he have to come here and open up a business? You know, they could say that, particularly these old people with their old-fashioned set minds. I think you still have them around,
So,
I'm sure.
yeah, sure.
Here you can open up a store, nobody asks you anything. If they need the merchandise, they will buy it.
Well,
So I think, wouldn't that be what we call international relations at its best? To take people as human beings and work with them and hope that they can make a contribution and I can help them, vice versa.
I think that will maybe happen in the future because, as you see in the Euro community, they grow together now, and maybe one day we will be a big community, like the Americans with the different states, and maybe next time the Europeans with a system of states, and maybe we get one day a bigger community.
You see,
Like
the
a work
American dream is not really completed yet. We are still in the process of developing in America. It's very interesting. We are about 280 years old or whatever, and older than that, 1776 or 1400, you know, whenever the first people came to this country. And we're still in the growing stages here.
but Europe
Yes.
Europe is much older and it's still in process too. So,
I say, now that is the good thing about it.
no?
That is the good thing about it. That and you, for instance, you're a representative. When you go back, you have a tremendous influence in your country. You can say, I was here, I had met all these people. My opinion counts. I'm not a nobody.
I hope
I'm a
so.
somebody.
Yeah.
And people will respect you because you have experience. By the way, how old are you?
I'm 26.
All right, so you are a grown man.
Yeah.
You're the same age level.
No, 23.
All right, you're also a man with experience, with opinions, and would you like to contribute to that thought? What we are just talking about, how important it is that you, when you come back, you can.
Yeah, it's very important to have experience because of the globalization, and you have to speak English. I think when we go back to Germany, it's very important to speak English because English is the business language.
Yeah.
And you have to know about the culture of America, and you have to. That's a good experience.
Are you studying American history? Do you have an occasion to learn?
No.
But you should open up a book and read. It's very interesting, because people will ask you questions when you come back. You should give answers.
I know we learned about in school in Germany about American history.
Yeah, but it's not as complete as what you would like to know about it. Is that all right? All right, we're going to wind it up. We are here together now for 1 solid hour, practically. And when we started out, I said, I don't know what this program will develop, how we're going to finish it out. But it turned out quite good, I think. And we will give you a cassette of that program, and you can then, in CCSU, you go to the department where they do educational material, and you can make for yourself a cassette. You know, they can copy it, and you send it home to your parents. By the way, who is paying for your stay here in America? Are you is paid for by the United States government, or how does it work?
No, we have an exchange program with Baden-Württemberg and Connecticut, and when we are coming to America 1 year, the Americans are coming to Baden-Württemberg.
And in other words, America pays for your stay here,
in Germany for
Germany
the
pays
Americans.
for the Americans to come there. That's good. Is that not in your case?
Yeah, it's the same.
Also,
But it's just the money for the university.
Only the tuition, not the
Yes.
whole stay.
Yeah, the
Excellent.
living expenses we have to provide ourselves.
well, that can become very expensive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, how much
Yeah, so-
are your living expenses? Would be interesting.
They're a lot higher than in Germany.
I mean, it's about a
Almost
year.
double than in
Double.
Germany.
It's about $7,000-8,000.
For the
A
whole
little bit
year.
more.
Yeah.
I think it's
More
more.
for that is 10,000.
I think about 10,000.
And who is paying for that? Your parents?
My parents, yes.
Oh, they're paying. Okay. So you don't have. What do the people who have no parents who can pay? What happens to these people? Is there somebody? Is there somebody watching out for them? If you're a poor person,
If you are in Germany eligible to get financial aid, you get the financial aid for the year abroad as well. But I don't think it's enough. But it is a contribution to it.
yeah, it's very helpful.
And we don't have
If
to pay
you're very good-
tuitions for our schools, so
Or you
I
don't.
think it's no.
In Germany, you don't pay
you
tuition.
don't pay for the education and the tuitions, so I think it's less expensive
Yeah,
than.
but how do you feel here to be here in America with us, particularly New Britain? Are people treating you well? They're friendly.
I feel very comfortable here because I met a lot of Americans here and different nations, and it's quite interesting to speak to them, to know how they react on me, and
That's nice. I mean,
That's
you have a good
really
feeling.
nice, yeah.
How do you feel about the people treat you well here?
Yeah.
They are. You have no problems. And how about you?
No problem.
Do you make American friends?
Yeah, a lot of.
Make friends. That's good. And how do you feel? How does it compare to Hamburg?
Yeah, it's different. The people are more open to foreigners or to other people.
Ja, up there,
To get to know other
particularly up
people.
there in Norddeutschland, die Leute sind verschlossen.
In northern Germany, they are more
Yeah.
closed. Yeah, that's true.
That's right, but I think it's very good. I'm glad that I invited you to come here. I was not sure how it would work out, but you feel good that you came on the program? You
yes,
think-
yes,
Yeah,
it was really interesting to talk to you, and
Yeah.
I think I can say it for all. We're thankful for the invitation for that program here, and
for the opportunity, and I hope to meet all of you together. Maybe you make that sure. How long is your friend going to stay here
Till
in America?
Sunday.
He leaves on Sunday?
Yes.
That's too bad. Okay, we hope. I hope that the telephone wires are not being burning up. All right. So we'll be fine. No question. And I think we are really winding up the program now. So I thank you very much,
Thank you.
each and every one of you.
Yeah.
I hope to see you again at the campus. And if somebody wanted to know, how do you wind up on a Jewish program? You said, well, you see, that is how you have to learn, to get together with other people and feel comfortable with them. And it will work out. God bless you, all of you.
Thanks.